Mujebale. My name is Susan Kibuuka and welcome to another episode of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Welcome once again to the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. This is the Ugandan Boy podcast and the YouTube channel. So these are some episodes that I'm doing while I'm on my vacation in Uganda, and it's such a great opportunity to host my mother on this podcast for the very first time. Now, I usually have a set of questions that I ask people or interview, but this is going to be a freestyle. So just be ready and listen to all the stories that she's going to have to say and have fun with it. Now, I'll let her introduce herself first.
My name's Susan Kibuuka. A mother to Ugandan boy.
That's quite a good introduction.
Yeah.
So on this podcast or on this episode, we are going to speak different languages because my mom can speak almost like 5 languages. So I'll let her just interchange all the different languages that she can speak. So the episodes I did earlier, I tell people that I'm half Ugandan and half Kenyan. So my mom was born and raised in Kenya. And today I'm honored to have her here on this podcast. So I'm going to ask her how your life was growing up in Kenya.
I grew up in Kenya in a home, a polygamist home. We had sisters and brothers, 23 of them. But I grew up when I could even understand. I saw my mom being a Christian. And I got saved when I was 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lived with my mom and my brothers. Later others got saved. So I grew up in Kenya. And I stayed in Kenya for 24 years, and I came to Uganda.
Wow. Now, what are some of the things that you used to do when you were young, in Kenya?
Yeah, my family, we are pastoralists, and we could keep cattle and cows, sheep, goats. We could keep cattle and do farming.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is and was a hard-working lady. She taught us how to milk cows.
Yeah.
Taught us how to keep cattle. He taught us how to farm. We could go digging, planting wheat, beans, and
Mahindi.
maize.
Yeah.
Mahindi. That's
Yeah.
in Swahili.
Yeah, your mom is a pretty strong woman, and she's my grandma.
Yes.
And I remember at some point when I was young, like she would run and chase the cows and jump all over the fence, and you couldn't believe it, but she is 96?
By now she's 96.
She is 96. She doesn't walk with any wheelchair, any stick. She walks by herself and does everything by herself. She actually does like farming till today, like she still digs and everything. So that's a pretty interesting lifestyle. What was your favorite food growing up in Kenya?
Yeah. In Kenya, I could like so much chapati and ugali. That is kaunga here in Uganda. Yeah, and milk. We could take a lot of milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the times you used to take us to Kenya, and they would, Gogo would show us Gogo is grandma, so we call her Gogo, and they would show us how to milk the cows and harvest mahindi, would put them like in stacks and all that. But yeah, Kenya is pretty interesting. I have a lot of fun going there, and I'm excited to hear your childhood part of Kenya. And now, so talk me through how you made the decision to leave Kenya and then move to Uganda.
Yeah, I like that. I went to school. I went to a Bible institute in Mombasa, that one of the biggest also cities in Kenya to study. I went to a theological school and I met Pastor Fred Ricardo in Pwani Bible Institute.
He was a pastor at that time?
He's a pastor that institutes who train pastors.
Okay.
So to call him pastor is still cannot change that. So in that school, he was ahead of me 2 years in the college, and I met him in the school. But he was a head boy in the institute, but by that time I didn't know him. But after some time is when we met with him and in the Bible school, and he proposed to marry me, and then that's how I came to Uganda.
Good stuff. Yeah, I like that. So how, I mean, you just gave us a summary of that story, which is pretty good, but like, how did you think of marrying somebody who was not from your tribe? Like, he was from Uganda, you're from Kenya, so how did you two get together and accept him? Was that easy?
I like that also. And it's not my first time being interviewed. I've been in one of the TVs in Uganda known as Star TV. Mm-hmm. They asked me the same thing. So, in fact, when I was a youth, that stage that you talk with your parents that when I'll be married one day, mm-hmm. That was one of the things that I could say, and I could tell my mom, I will not be married by my own tribe. I am a Kalenjin by tribe, one of the pastorists, and if I remind anyone who knows about the leaders of Kenya, President Moi. Now he has passed on, but he was of my tribe. And I told my mom that I will not be married. I could say always when we were seated like this, when they talk about. Then my mom was mad at me, told me, what you're saying, it will happen to you. And then it happened to me that I lived in different societies with mixed people, and I could not see the difference of either another tribe or to another culture or what. I didn't see. But also another thing is that because I'm a Christian. Being a Christian, you don't have discrimination on people. So I loved it, and I prayed. I told God about it, and I told God, why do I feel in my heart to mix or to get intermarry, to do intermarriage? Then I told God about it, and I prayed about it. And when I'm in Uganda right now, their culture is very different from mine. And the challenges that I get, I said, nobody forced me to be in this society. I loved it, and I asked God about it. Yeah. When I get a challenge, I still ask God. But it's a choice from my heart, so it will not disturb me that much. That is it.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned about like challenges.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you faced when you decided to move from Kenya to Uganda?
A lot.
Give us
and
like
the
two.
same challenges, I still have them.
Yeah.
One was the language. It was so hard. I could go to the shops and to see my fellow Africans. They were chasing me. Nowadays, I know Uganda, and there's as if they were saying, Kende ogureri kuanga oyogera luzungu. They could not, they saw my color as if I'm cheating, that why don't I speak my African language while I look the same looks like them, but in me, I didn't know their language.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge. Another thing, food. Food. They eat matoke, that is bananas, but raw bananas they could cook, but it was tasteless. tasteless. But nowadays, you can't imagine. I like matoke. I can eat without sauce. I feel there is a taste which I cannot identify how it came about.
Yeah.
But that was also a challenge. Also, another challenge is that they have tradition clothes that I could not know how to put them on. My husband, who is a father to
The
Ugandan boy, he taught me to put on. Also to cook food. The Kenyan food and Ugandan food was very different. And the same, my husband taught me to cook the food. And now I try. The challenges are still there, but I still know how to.
Can you imagine, like, you've been married for over how many years? 30?
33.
33. And here
It will
you
be
said-
33 on 29th this month.
Nice. Wow. Congratulations, my friend. No, but I was just saying, can you imagine being married for 33 years and here you
And
say...
different culture.
Yeah,
No,
and then
other country.
there's still some challenges, but you're still going on, and that's something that sticks out to me, that no matter what we go through, like, challenges will always be there, but what matters is the strength in your heart and what pushes you to keep going. Now, I believe you moved to Uganda and then you got married and then you started life in Uganda. So you started having kids. So walk us through the first child, like how his life was and everything, and then we'll go to the next child after that.
Yeah. God blessed us with 2 sons, and they are the only children that we have. We didn't have any complication or what, but God provided. And in fact, I don't speak it to many people. We talked with your father, and when we were talking, when he was engaging me, we said we'll get 2 children. And in fact, we got 2 children. And then when they were growing, when I gave birth to Benjamin, Benjamin is Benjamin. We named him Benjamin. And Jacob named him the son of my right hand, as we see in the Bible. And Rachel, the wife, named him the son of my sorrow. Benon, we call him both of the names. But when I was giving, we named him the name Benjamin Benon. We named him before I got pregnant to him. And then
How did you know it was a boy?
we just believed in God. That. Then I was giving birth to him. I gave birth to Benjamin when I was 25 years. And then I got Caesar. But the boy grew and he could disturb me so much, and I could get banana fibers if people know banana. And then I could tie him so that he cannot move all as I do the work. And your daddy told me, in Uganda we don't tie children like goats. And I told him that this son of yours is disturbing me, but anyway I struggled until he grew up. Then I gave birth also to Ugandan boy when I was 28.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when I gave birth to him, he was not very heavy. He had some kilos, but Benjamin was more than. And then I grew up. What I know much about him is that the Ugandan boy was very active. He could ask me a lot of questions. It was too much. But I had learned about children, and I knew that he was in that age, but he was an active boy. He could ask questions. And I remember he could take also a taxi to go to school when he was in lower class. But he could tell the drivers he can't sit. They could make the children sit or stand, but they still pay money. But him, he could tell the taxi people, he will not sit or stand on where the children...
Kameme.
Yeah, the kameme, it was burning so much
Where the engine sits.
But he could tell them, he could challenge the drivers that, me, I have my money, and then I will not sit there. So people could not have told us, but we took a taxi one time and they were talking about him. They were backbiting him, but we came to know that your son can never sit anywhere because he has his money. And he was so active even at school. He was very active, and to see him in US and also working in aviation, I have no doubt because of the way I saw him. He was very bright and active. I remember even in my cousin told me that his children, if his children could do the best in class, he could tell them, I'm going to buy you something if you will do well in class. Then I practiced the same thing I told Bonnie, that if you do well in class, I'll buy you a phone. Then they did well. They had first grade in class, the two of them, and then I bought them phones. They were the first people in the community with a phone, at church with a phone, and everybody was, you are spoiling your children and such. But since they did the best, and even in high school, he had the first grade, and I told him, I'm buying his first grade with 150.
Yeah, I think 100. Yeah, 150.
That is how many dollars?
It's like is it 30? Yeah, around that, like 30 or something.
So I gave him that. I bought his first grade anyway.
Well, it's pretty crazy when you reminded me about how I told the drivers that I can't sit on the kameme because I had my money. Because when I look at my life right now, that's how I am. Like, I paid my money, I gotta use some. Like, I have to do this, and that has lived with me till today. Like, if I've paid my money, I want to be treated this way and this way because I've paid for it. You know, that's something that has stayed with me till like I have grown. But it's interesting to hear and revisit all those stories that how we grew up with Benjamin. And I know as time went on, you and Dad brought in some people in the family, especially the girls, to help the girls in the community. And we lived with the other girls in the house. And I've been telling people in the US on my podcast and everywhere I go, I've been telling them how you showed us the heart of love and care for other people. And even today, like, we are in our home right now, and there are kids that are living in here with you guys, and the kids are living in another house, and you're still doing that to show the love of God with all these people. And that's something that I've learned from you people and from you and Dad, and just sharing the small thing that you have with other people. And you've mentioned, like, my school. I used to go to school. We weren't the richest people, but you just had to use whatever small thing you had with and shared with other people. And I want to thank you because when I just came here, I told you about my YouTube, and you went there and watched all the YouTube videos that I've done. So I want to thank you for that, for the support and love. I know the internet is expensive here, but you get that time and listen to all my podcasts. And while you were saying that story, I remembered one time, I shared this in one of the episodes earlier, I don't know if you listened to it, the trip to Kenya. So I share about how we had to walk through Kampala with our luggages on the head to go to Wakamba so it can take us to Kenya. And that was interesting because now God has provided us with a car so we can go to Kampala and come back. But back then, we just had to walk through Kampala with you and put the luggage on the head and go. What's the memory that you remember in your head when we were little? What's something that you can remember that you can share with us, either good or bad, but like when we were little, what's one thing that sticks out to you?
There are many, but I would like to add on a bit about having a number of children in our house, but there is no day that I found a case when my children are shouting to other children that this is our home, even if they were young, this is our home, you are occupying what? But they had that heart, and you ended up even bringing other children by yourself, who got married, and I have a picture here, and Benja brought also Glorious and Innocent and many others, and they were saying, even us, we are bringing ours, because even you've been taking side. So now the things that I can share is, I remember both of you got sick one of the time. You got sick the same time, different sicknesses. They admitted you in hospital, and different hospitals, and we were to take to be with you. So I remember Benjamin or Benon went to Namirembe, one of the hospitals, Mengo, one of the hospitals in Kampala, and we went with you to the National Hospital in Mulago. You are breathing seriously, and Benjamin got paralyzed, and up to today it taught us to depend on God. Many people told us that many people didn't know about Christ, but we told them that we don't have any other God. We are going to pray for our children. And those are the times that I remembered, and God did a wonderful thing. Up to this day, I remember that time. I put it ahead of me and I said, if God did this, what about other things? So those are the things that I remember. I remember also many times you could go to my home country, and everybody in my home, they loved you. You could eat their food, you could stay with them, and those are the wonderful times that I could see. And also being here at home, I remember many times when you could accept to go with me. I was working in an organization known as Child Evangelism Fellowship of Uganda. I've been a missionary for 10 years, a missionary to children East and Central Africa. That is 11 countries. And you joined me to take trainings. We were teaching other youth, and many people's children could change. But when I approached you to join me in trainings that were taking place, you and Benjamin took the courses. To this day, Benjamin took all the trainings like me and finished, and he can train even other youth, and even you could preach. I could be proud for you to preach before the church, and you could know how to apply and how to do invitation, and you could preach best more than many pastors. And those are the things that I like so much.
That is interesting.
And also, we kept you in our home free, and sometimes you could tell us we are going to visit our friends, and you could be free. You sometimes used my car and you could visit your friends. We stayed in our home without pressing our children. Yeah. I've been friendly with my children, both of them.
Yeah, I tell people that the relationship I have with my parents is like, it's like my friend. Like I can tell you anything, you tell me anything, and then we just have that, like we take off the blanket of being son and parent and just be friends and talk about different stuff. And I really appreciate that. I thank God for that. It's not very many people that have that opportunity to have a close relationship with their parents. I know I grew up with some kids or when their parents come in the house, they run away and they hide because they know their dad is gonna beat them up or is gonna yell at them. But that was not the case in this. So I know you talked a little bit about Child Evangelism Fellowship, but I'm gonna do a part 2 of that story, and we talk about the children ministry and how you've been involved in the children ministry. But we're coming to close of this one. And is there anything that I've not talked about besides the children ministry that you would want to say to our listeners?
I told you that we grew in a home whereby my husband is a pastor, and we took we took theology together when I was in Kenya, as we graduated with my husband as a pastoress and he's a pastor. And then we are happy that our children grew in a Christian home, and those made many things to be successful, because we come together as a family, a Christian home, and I thank God for that.
That's powerful. So we also thank God for the privilege. I've already told you, we thank God for you guys and helping us, raising us to be better people and putting in all the effort. I know I have a lot of childhood friends that are now in jail. Some of them have died because of the life they chose to live, but we're still here living because of the foundation that you guys gave to us. Now, I ask everybody a question that I bring to this podcast, and this question is, what gets you excited about life?
One thing is that I'm a Christian. I'm excited to know that if I'm a Christian, I have a hope to live after this life. And another thing is that I'm excited to see my children grow, and they have grown. They are even now married. I'm happy to see them live with their wives and their children, and happy to see that I keep a legacy in my life. And I pray God that at least I have something that my children, other people who learn from me, that mom could do this, mom did this, and many people may follow that. I remember many people have told me, I like keeping time. I was keeping time because my parents taught me, but also I learned in different colleges as I've been studying to time management, and I've done extra things just because of keeping time. I wake up early in the morning, I pray for my family. I pray for those who are there and those who are not there. I pray for them every time, and I feel that can excite. That's part of the excitements. And though by now I'm not working, but I feel good to be with my family and to see things at my home and to practice what I have, and also trying to help other people. I feel also that I need to bring many to Christ. What I'm doing now is that I minister in our school that I was ministering even for many years, but I see young boys and girls coming to Christ.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate your time in sacrificing these 30 minutes to share with us and talk to us about my life, your life. So we're looking forward to having you here again. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ciao, Kibuuka. Hey there, I am Susan Kibuuka, the host of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to hit subscribe and share with a friend. Tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for a new episode about my podcast. And for more information about this podcast, follow me on my Instagram page, talk_show_256.